Hey, it's Nix, and I'm taking a break from my regularly scheduled content of literally nothing to bring you something completely different from anything I've ever done before, talking over Edo Pro replays. The reason for this is that thanks to a video that I just randomly got recommended by someone named Purples underscore S. I'm not sure how I'm supposed to say it, but I will link their video in the description. Looks like Age of Overlord may have indirectly introduced some new DDD support that allows us to do something that I never thought we were going to get the ability to do, summon Kali Yuga on the opponent's turn. And guess what? It's actually consistent, and as you'll see later, spoiled a little bit by the title of one of these replays, it might be actually viable in a format through disruption. Well, okay, that I may be getting a little bit ahead of myself. I don't think it's going to make DDD more viable. It just makes what DDD already can do better. It's not going to make our deck more consistent. It's not going to make our deck more resilient, but it is an immense increase in the ceiling of our endboards. And I don't think it sacrifices anything. I don't think we're going to be losing to more things than before if we decide to play this. So it may end up being good, but we'll have to see. So here we're going to start off with the basic combo. This was adapted from a 1.5 card Labyrinth, like Ariana, whatever. The Labyrinth one that summons a Fiend from deck. But I figured in DDD, we're not going to play that. We're going to be doing it through like a 2-card combo. So this is not something you're going to be able to do every game, but it is something that you'll be able to go for in hands that can already play. So we're going to start by normal summoning Copernicus, and this time we're going to send Lamia. Now we're going to summon Griffin and make Caesar. But this is where it diverges. Caesar is going to go into this new card from Age of Overlord, Ixie's Armor Fortress, which is able to summon itself on top of any rank 3 or 4 Xyz monster, in this case Caesar, and detach 2 materials to add 2 armored Xyz cards with different names from deck. So what we're going to do here is we're going to detach the Griffin and the Caesar. The Griffin doesn't matter so much, but you have to detach the Caesar to add 2 cards. The first of which is Armored Xyz. This is going to be our extender, and I think this card may actually be not that bad to draw as a Garnet, but you'll see. So target one face-up monster you control and 1 Xyz monster in your graveyard. Equip that monster from the graveyard to that other monster in the field as an equip spell with 3 effects that don't matter. Really all we care about is using this to equip it to Armored Xyz. The reason for this is the other card. Full Armored Xyz. If an Xyz monster is on the field, immediately after this effect resolves, Xyz summon one Xyz monster using monsters you control. Well, shit. What this lets you do is summon Kali Yuga on the opponent's turn. DDD was always, for some reason, strangely, like the worst deck at summoning Kali Yuga on the opponent's turn. Every other deck that could make Kali Yuga only made it on the opponent's turn pretty much, and DDD never got the ability to do that, which, let's be fair, is a good thing. But hey, anything that helps me win with this deck is good to me. But the reason we care about equipping Caesar here is because we had to basically waste it in order to search this trap card. But here, we re-equip it, and we can just send it with Lamia, because Lamia doesn't care if it's a monster, spell, trap, whatever. Just DD your Dark Construct card, send it. This triggers the Caesar to add Dark Construct with the Gate. Gate effect, in this case, searches Requiem. I haven't done a whole lot of labbing with this, so this is basically, up until the very end, just because I'm playing more DDD cards, because it's the DDD deck, the same as the combo that was shown in the video that I will link in the description. Thank you again, Purples_S, for finding this. So that deck, that combo was playing Requiem, which I would prefer not to do, but I haven't thought of a way to do this off of the same start without it. So we're going to pop Gate, summon itself, and immediately link summon Gilgamesh, setting Ragnarok and Kepler so we can Pendulum summon the Genghis, trigger the Ragnarok to bring back the Caesar from the graveyard, and immediately rank it up into Tell. We can use the burn just for fun. And then we can link that off to trigger Tell's effect, send Vice Typhon. This is where it starts to vary. So in the original combo, they sent Necroslime and made Beowulf here, but I'm just going to send Vice Typhon because it lets me make Mach X on top of this Gilgamesh and trigger the High Genghis to bring back the Caesar. So basically you're just ending on another Xyz monster that's going to float into something relevant on the next turn. This is a way to recover some lost advantage, extend a little bit more on the next turn when you try to kill your opponent after you lock them out of the game. So here we're going to set the trap. Immediately on the draw phase, we're just going to flip full armored Xyz, use Requiem, use Genghis to make Kali Yuga. And there you go. Side note, the reason we are bringing back Caesar instead of something like the Griffin here is because we can't bring back Griffin because we're locked into triple D off of Requiem, which is another reason why I really want to replace that card if I can find a way to do so. But that's the standard play. Your 2-card combo that, loses to 1 disruption anyway can now Kali Yuga lock the opponent instead of making a board. All right. But this is where it gets really interesting. I left a comment on the video kind of going over my initial reaction to the discovery of this combo. And I thought, this is cool, but does it really beat Disruption? Like, you probably need a really stacked hand to not just immediately lose to any disruption on this Xyz monster. I forget what it's called already. Full Armored Xyz, is that what it's called? The one that searches too. But then I started thinking, okay, well, what does DDD already do that, helps it play through Disruption? Well, Baron combo. And I'm a huge advocate of actually foregoing Baron completely when you have a hand like this, normal summoning Copernicus instead of using the Swirl Slime to make High Caesar on the 5th summon. A while ago, I recorded a video that never ended up releasing about how in basically every scenario, you are making a better board that is more insulated from disruption if you use these 3 cards to make Baron or to make High Caesar instead of Baron on Summon 5. But that's for another video if I ever decide to go back to that. Here, however, it's very, very good to make Baron, and you will see why. So we're going to start off by the standard Baron de Fleur combo for anyone who's uninitiated. That's Swirl Slime with Griffin, Swirl Slime to make Genghis, Swirl Slime effect in Graveyard to summon Copernicus, trigger Copernicus to send, well, in this case, Lamia. It doesn't actually have to be Lamia in the standard combo, but then you trigger the Griffin effect on summon to search Orthros, which you then normal summon, bypassing its restriction, locking you into feed monsters if it's special summoned. Doesn't happen because it's normal summoned. And then as summon 5, you make Baron de Fleur, and you are now insulated from things like Nibiru or an infinite impermanence on your Gilgamesh. However, where we would normally make Gilgamesh from this position, we will instead be making Caesar, and immediately ranking up into Ixie's Armor Fortress. Once again, we're going to detach 2 cards to add the 2 back row, the Armored Xyz and the Full Armored Xyz, activating Armored Xyz to, once again, equip to Ixie's Armored Fortress, the Caesar from the graveyard. From here, however, we're not going to use Lamia's effect to send the Caesar and summon itself and search. Instead, we're going to use Baron de Fleur, very specifically, to pop Ixie's Armor Fortress itself. You do not want to pop just the Caesar, and the reason for this is because you will actually be short a material in Graveyard for a fusion summon later, and be forced to banish a Genghis, which you would rather not do because you're probably only playing 2, and you don't want to cut off your access to High King Caesar later in the game. So we're going to trigger the Caesar, add gate. This is the same, but instead of searching Requiem here, we're going to search Vice Typhon, which we will then send from our hand with Lamia, thus maintaining the gate on field for a Mach X later, and putting a Vice Typhon engraved to immediately get ourselves a fusion summon of High King Genghis. Now, that Genghis isn't going to be sticking around for long, but he'll be back, I promise. We're going to link those 2 into Gilgamesh. Gilgamesh effect, this time setting Ragnarok and a Copernicus. This could be any low scale, but I chose Copernicus because if we Kali Yuga to Heavy Storm on the opponent's turn, this will be more valuable in our extra deck than any other level 4. So we're going to Pendulum Summon the Orthros, triggering the Ragnarok to bring back the Genghis, Now we can overlay Machinex on top of Gilgamesh, triggering the Genghis to bring back the other level 4. This is why we popped full armored, or Ixis Armor Fortress. I think I called it full armored Ixis earlier. Ixis Armor Fortress. Because we wanted the material that was otherwise going to be stuck under it, the Griffin, to end up engraved for us to revive now, to synchro summon with this Orthros into Siegfried. From this position, we can set full armored Ixis and pass to the opponent with 2 negates for any attempt to stop our full armored Ixis from resolving. So I have here drawing Book of Eclipse, chaining it to full armored Ixis. They want to set all their stuff face down so that we can't Ixis someone with it. Well, we have Siegfried. And, you know, if they have a second one or something else, we have Baron for it. Or if they try to Nibiru us, we have Baron for it. If they try to drop an Ash Blossom on our Ixis Armor Fortress, if they, you know, didn't use the Ash Blossom already on our Griffin search for whatever reason, well, Baron de Fleur is going to insulate us. And the great thing about this combo is that it basically forces your opponent to interact with you early, and based on whether or not they do, you can then decide going forward, do I want to go and commit my my Caesar to this Ixis Armor Fortress line, or would I rather just play DDD? Whereas with the other combo, you're deciding immediately and you're losing to all the same stuff, you know, just regular 2-card combo. But when you have this play, this gives you options, right? If you get your Griffin ashed, well, okay, they're cutting you off of Baron, but that means I'm not going to try to go for this anymore, probably. Can you even go for it from that position? You can, but I would advise against it. Although, you could still try, right? You'll just lose to a second disruption. But yeah, this absolutely gives us something really good to do that's insulated and gives us places to pivot. And, you know, if we're allowed to resolve it, which should be easy to do because Siegfried in this case is insulating us from cards like Book of Eclipse, you know, Book of Moon also, just anything chainable that could shut us down. Well, too bad, idiot. Get Kali Yuga. And on the follow-up, you know, we could Kali Yuga, wipe our scales, Machinex, put itself back. So, yeah, I mean, I think this has potential. I don't necessarily think, or I'm not convinced that it will 100% become standard, but I will definitely mess around with it. You know, I don't think this is going to make the deck more viable because it doesn't address our actual weaknesses. Our biggest weaknesses are fragility and inconsistency, and you know, this doesn't help with those. But in the situations where we can already play, it makes it so we're a lot less likely to get our board broken, which is, you know, another weakness that has kind of been creeping up on us. So this will help us stay, you know, about where we were before relative to the newer decks, but I don't think it's going to really bring us up into competition. But hey, it's something to work with. It's something to play with. It's something new. It's exciting. And I'm looking forward to playing around with this going forward. So let me know what you think. Let me see if you come up with any wacky new techs that you know, utilize this. But yeah, I got nothing else to say. So this has been the one and only Nyx Dolores. Bye.